Howdy folks, I'm Curious Catsith, continuously clawing cardboard containers.
I'm Amber.
And here are more cardboard containers for us to claw away at. That's what you do when you're a Catsith. Let's get started. Or you gamble, I don't know. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not answering my work messages after work hours, even if it just takes 1 minute of my time? I'm a 28-year-old male, and I work in marketing. Full-time, no overtime pay. My boss created a group chat where everyone is expected to quote-unquote stay connected after hours. I politely said that I log off at 6 p.m. unless it is urgent. Well, last week, I missed a message around 8:30 p.m. asking for access to a Google Drive folder. The next morning, my boss says, "Why can't you? Only takes a few seconds to do so," and wasn't committed enough. And I told her that if they need someone 24/7, that they can hire 2 people. Now she's being cold, and a few coworkers said that I should have just given access and compromised a bit to keep the peace. Am I the jerk for keeping my boundaries and not working at least 1 minute to reply? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. Now, granted, if I were you, OP, I would start looking for a new job and have one in backup because there's nothing to stop her from retaliating.
Yeah.
But when you're off the clock, you're not getting paid. It is not your job anymore. Like you said, if they need someone on all the time, they need to pay someone to be on all the time.
Well, that's just it. It's like, this is in poor form for them to do this, to try to drag OP into work after hours. Like, there needs to be respect for people's after hours. People have things to do. Like, not everyone, there's the point that they're getting paid for 8 hours worth of work, right? They're not getting paid for 8 hours and 1 minute worth of work, right? Like 8 hours is 8 hours. And certainly, like, there's always going to be work emergencies and stuff like that where somebody might have to work a few extra hours, but that's usually specified in their contract. And like, yeah, sometimes it's expected that you're going to have to be flexible on that, right? And I think that this is, if OP is in the US, which it sounds like, then they may have to be cautious because a lot of companies are, fire at will, or, at will employment, which means that OP can leave anytime they want, but that means that the boss can also decide to just cut them loose if they really want to. And, OP might want to watch their back is really what it boils down to. Hopefully they can file a HR complaint about this or keep a paper trail or something, but this sounds like it's probably a small business.
Yeah.
And that there isn't going to be maybe even an HR department for them. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Illustrious Bowler 259 says, Nope, nobody, nope. Even if you were being paid, being on call 24/7 is a terrible, stressful thing. She's running this company through fear and intimidation. Time to dust off the CV and make a move, not the jerk. And Dumac says, not the jerk, but this does put you on the chopping block. So yes, have a resume prepped and consider your options. And Fairly Competent says, not the jerk. If you're not being paid to be on call, then you're not on call. You're not a pediatric heart surgeon. Nothing in marketing is an 8 p.m. emergency. And Marion Berry Plush 8474 says, not the jerk. She's not asking for just a few seconds. She's demanding that you remain tethered to work all the time, checking to see if there's an emergency without paying you for it. This is basically like being on call, and it should not happen for free. I put emergency in quotes because I doubt the sky fell because someone couldn't have access to a Google document at 8:30. And if it did, the solution should be that more people have access to documents or passwords are kept centrally and not all employees checking their texts and emails sent every hour, day and night. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to let my coworker get a bite of my lunch every day after I shared it once? Not to toot my own horn, but I think that I'm a pretty decent cook. My food tastes and smells good, and I love to share my cooking with others as it brings me joy. However, it's been a bit of an issue around lunchtime at work. I don't usually cook for my coworkers, as this is my personal hobby. If I am cooking for them, we'll plan it out so that everyone knows that there's going to be food in the break room. In these situations, obviously, I intend to share. I let one of my coworkers take a bite of my lunch once on a day that I didn't bring food for everyone. I figured, why not? Big mistake. Now, every day, they come by to get a bite of my lunch. I'm not rude about it, and I just say no. But it's getting a little weird with it being a daily thing now. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. This is your food and you're entitled to it. The other person is not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what it boils down to. I think that this person is just taking advantage of OP. It's one of
Mm-hmm.
these give an inch, take a mile type of situations.
Mm-hmm.
OP's not in the wrong here. You don't have to share your lunch if you don't want to. And maybe the solution here is to start taking giant bites out of the coworker's lunch anytime. like be like, oh, well, can I have a bite of your food? And then take the biggest bite that you can out of their food. And I think I've had similar advice to this before. I think that I'm on a roll here. Like maybe the solution to all of our problems is just to take a bite out of someone else's food. So yeah,
I mean,
uh,
I don't think in general that's good advice, but I think in this particular case, that might be the way to get the coworker off your back.
I think it's generally good advice. Drink your milkshake type of stuff, right? Assert dominance. Eat their lunch. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And It Twins says, hey coworker, I'm flattered that you like my cooking, but my lunch is just for me, and the answer is going to stay no from here on out. I'll let you know when I'm making something for the whole office. Your coworker is being weird and presumptuous, but they're a colleague, so give them some warmth in your tone when you give them an explicit, not today, not going forward form of response. If they insist or push back, you can get a chiller. And Kayla Quinoa says, when did my dog get a job at your office? Not the jerk. And Litho Giraffe says, take them over to the side and ask them quietly if they are dealing with a food scarcity or money issue. Act concerned. Hopefully, this will make them uncomfortable enough that someone is viewing them as poor that they'll stop. The fact that they are asking for just one bite makes me believe that they aren't having money issues. But the risk is that they might be, and now you feel guilty as well as annoyed.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not a good route to go unless you're prepared to do something about food insecurity.
Well, you know what? If a coworker of mine was having food insecurity issues, I would actually probably have no problem with bringing in like a second lunch or a sandwich or something like that for them,
Well,
right?
that's why I say, like, unless you are prepared to do it. Like, if you're not, you shouldn't. But if you are, then, like, that's perfectly fine.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Cover My Coworker's Shift After She Missed Mine Last Month? For some context, I'm a 28-year-old male and I work at a restaurant. It's pretty much the same level of an Olive Garden in terms of professionalism, and I work there as a server. Around a month ago, I asked a colleague to cover one of my shifts that week so that I could attend a family event, to which she responded that she would. I had let my manager know, and she said that it was fine as long as I had someone in my place. Then my shift rolls around, and I'm at the event with my family. I get a call from my supervisor in which she then asks me where I am and why I didn't show up. I reminded her that my coworker would be taking my place that night and that she said that no one was here for me. And I told her that I would call the person who agreed to pick up my shift, and I did. After asking why she wasn't there, she responded with I decided not to go in today, and I asked her why, and she said there was a new movie that came out and I wanted to see it. Obviously, I was furious, and I told her that she agreed to cover for me and that she needs to go in and help. She never went in, and then I got scolded by my manager for it at my next shift. Anyways, here I am now. She has been asking me to pick up her shift, to which I obviously am saying no. I make up an excuse, but one of my work friends knows that I don't have anything going on that day, so he asked me why. I usually don't have an issue with picking up people's shifts, so he's curious, so I tell him. He says that he gets it. But I guess at some point, word rolls around to a few different associates, and then to her. She calls me petty and childish, to which a few of my coworkers agree with her. My friend, as well as two others, are on my side about this. I know that this seems dumb, but I just want to know if I'm the jerk in this situation. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. If you were being petty, you would agree to take her shift, and then you would cancel it at the last minute to go watch a movie. That's
Yeah.
not what you're doing. You're being very clear that you're not taking her shift, and that should be that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe OP should do that to get everyone off their back. And then when the coworker calls them, OP can be like, I wanted to go watch a movie. Sorry. So, I don't know. Like, maybe pettiness isn't the right answer here, but I think that OP certainly isn't in the wrong, and I don't understand why these folks are trying to paint OP as the bad guy here, right?
Because they don't want to cover her shift.
But also, like, the coworker who opened their mouth and told everyone,
Well, yeah.
like, it's clear that they think that OP was in the right. So why do they need to go around and tell everyone why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just keep this to yourself. Some things are best not said.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the old expression holds true. Two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Objective Attempt 14 says, not the jerk, I don't understand how it doesn't become her shift. One place that I worked at made each person agreed to trade in writing. The schedule would be changed, and she would have been the one getting the call as a no-show. And OP replies, our restaurant is a small, locally owned business, so unfortunately they don't have anything online to transfer shifts and stuff like that. They do everything on paper, but I agree, they definitely should have some sort of form of transferring or something like that. Before this, I usually had faith in my coworkers and that they wouldn't pull stuff like this. And Wise Matter 9248 says, not the jerk. It would have been one thing if she had skipped it because she was sick or had an emergency. Getting you in trouble because she wanted to go see a movie, that's on her. And 1 Minute Sewing says, no, Petty would have been telling you that I'll do it and then decided to blow it off and go to a movie without telling you like you did to me, not the jerk. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for calling a guy selfish for not loaning me his pants? I'm a 21-year-old female, and I've been hanging out with this guy, a 21-year-old male, for about 2 months. We're definitely not officially boyfriend and girlfriend. My friend told me that it would be relevant to include this, that we have not been physical beyond kissing yet. He invited me to hang out with him and his brothers. We went by this quiet lake and set up a drinking games table. Small town lull. Me, him, and his 3 brothers, all a little older than him. They were the only people in sight. I didn't drink because I volunteered to be a designated driver, but one of the brothers spilled a beer all over my pants. Totally by accident, I'm not mad. I got called in from work to go into the lab for an hour or 2, and he and his brothers assured me that they would still be playing by then, so that I could go into work and then swing back and join them later. But I realized that I couldn't go in with my beer-soaked pants, and it would be very out of the way to go back home. One of the guy's brothers said that the guy that I'm seeing should just loan me his pants. That wouldn't have occurred to me, but his suggestion seemed logical. I offered to go get the car and have one of his brothers bring them to me, modesty and all that, but he refused. His brothers kept pushing him, and he kept saying no until one of them offered, but by that point, it all felt pretty awkward. I ended up having to drop $60 on new pants, and was much later than they wanted me to be. Things in a lab are very dependent on timing, and I was filling in for someone with a family emergency. I hate to be that girl, but I got an ick from him. When he texted me later, I guess he could notice that something was off. He kept pestering me, but I told him that he was selfish for not helping me out. He never replied, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But was I out of line for calling him selfish? Alright folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, I think you are a bit out of line. I mean, I would feel differently if you were at his house and had asked to borrow his pants, but he had no other pants to wear, so he would have just had to hang around outside in his boxers.
I mean, it sounds like it was just with him and his brothers or something like that, which, I mean, I guess it depends on the climate and what temperature it is and all kinds of other things, because, like, boxers aren't really any different from, like, swim trunks in a lot of ways.
Well, I'm
So,
assuming what kind of underwear he's
yeah.
wearing.
I mean, if he was wearing tighty whities, maybe a little bit less so, because, like, that's a little bit more awkward. But, like, I don't know. I mean, I think, like, it's an odd request, and I think that OP should have gone and gotten their own pants anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why the brothers were trying to force him to give up his pants. I mean, was this just like some kind of part of the drinking game?
I mean, yeah, it could just be the siblings, just being brats to each other.
Yeah. Hey, come on, give her your pants, dude. I don't know. It's a little bit odd. It's a little bit odd. And it just sounds more like the brothers were trying to give him a hard time than anything, and they were drunk.
Yeah.
As for like $60 on new pants, couldn't they just drop by like somewhere with cheap pants? Maybe they're on the way. There was only like one place that they could get to in time.
Well, that's it. There might not have been a lot of options depending on where they live.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
What's a legume's favorite cartoon?
Well, I can tell you exactly what a legume's favorite cartoon is because I am a little legume. I was a little peanut once, so I can tell you exactly what a legume's favorite tunes are. They are Looney Tunes because there are merry melodies, and they have a peanut, and you need the peanut gallery to make comments as they get watched.
Peanuts.
Oh yeah, I mean that makes sense.
I just thought it was funny that like you used the word peanuts so many times that it didn't click. And today is National Chinese Takeout Day and National Advent Calendar Day.
So remember, wah, 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 wah. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
Work hours for work. You're not paid when you're at home. Bosses should take note.
I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.